Let me tell you, I think that's a good entry to talk about the Steelers and what's going on with them. How good do you think they are? Because the issue they've had for the last however many years, including the end of the Roethlisberger era, is they didn't have a quarterback. Right. They seem to have a whole lot of everything else, but they did not have a quarterback. I don't know how much of a quarterback they have right now, but they still seem like they might be as good as anybody else in that conference is.
Yeah, because the defense is great. And the defense can do, well, one, just like what we're talking about, and being big and stopping the run, which, again, like that adage is really true in playoff time, like stopping the run and running the ball. Maybe not regular season, but playoff time. They can stop the ball through the air. Joey Porter Jr. is very good. Minka Fitzpatrick is a star. Like, I love Fitzpatrick. He's one of my favorite players in the league. They're big up front. But on the offensive side, the run game's really cooking now. Like Zach Frazier, their center, their rookie center, is really good. Like, going to be a future All-Pro. I'll go on the record of saying that. Maybe not this year, but in the future. And then Mason McCormick, who's another rookie guard, are really kind of, and Isaac Sumalo, their left guard. They're really got an attitude now, and it's really kind of, they're getting the rhythm. Najee Harris isn't my favorite back in the world. You know, he's a big guy, sometimes stops his feet, but he's been running harder. And so the run game now is at least above average to good. And then Russ is just right now at quarterback. It's not all great. Like, I'm watching it. It's like, it's not a consistent passing attack. The one good thing is that's not the design, or it's not the intent of this offense. It's not the philosophy of this offense is kind of like how the Commanders game went for the Steelers. All right, Russ, you just got to hit 2 or 3 of these. You got to hit the moon ball to Pickens, the moon ball to Mike Williams, and hit one more big 20, 30-yard gain, and we're good. You know, you don't have to hit 4 or 5 5-yard gains. Just hit the 1 30-yarder. So, like, I think it's just he's a dice roll for them. He's not going to have to carry them in carry the offense. Don't have to create. I think for them, him is just no negative plays, no picks, no 14-yard sacks. Just take all the simple plays. I don't think they're a true contender, but I do think they're a playoff team that can win a playoff game. Like, I don't think you want to play them because just their defense and the run game are going to give a lot of teams fits if they can't stop that. So I just think the quarterback play is it's middling, but at least they can hit some high variance plays once in a while.
How much would you pay to listen to a conversation between Russell Wilson and George Pickens?
Oh my goodness. A lot.
Like,
we didn't have any psychos at Wisconsin, so I didn't get to hear any Russ interacting with those types. So I know.
like George Pickens, we will spend until the day he stops playing being like, but why did you do that? Right? Like, it'll be, how did you do this? But why did you do that?
Right. He's always just listening to the little devil on his shoulder. I've been trying to think of who he reminds me of. There's got to be someone from the late 90s, early 2000s when that run of receivers that hit the league. It's like he's like a mix of, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some bruiser back in the day that was like, who's the guy that was married to Lisa Left Eye Lopez?
Andre Rison.
He's like a mix between Andre Rison and Freddie Mitchell.
Yeah, well, see, like, the thing about him, though, was that Pickens just does things that are just like, I can't believe you did that. But with Rison, except for the time that he and Deion swung it out on the field, like, he might complain that he wasn't getting the ball or anything like that, right? But like of that run of receivers you talk about, what I don't recall ever thinking about them is, what's on their minds? I knew what was on their minds. Give them the ball or don't. Pickens does things where I'm just like, I don't understand what you're doing. I guess Randy every now and then would give you what are you doing? Why did
he's not elbow dropping people.
Yeah, right, exactly. Not an interception was thrown, and instead of going for the ball, you went for some other dude.
One of my favorite plays of the year. Just took it as an excuse to just start. And then he started he did the classic Big Brother move, like you're on the ground, and then just like started talking to him. It looked like a zombie eating someone else's face. Like, that's what it looked like what he was doing on film and everything. Randy was just spraying water balls at refs. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
So he sprayed the water ball at a ref like that.
Every now and then he just didn't feel like playing that much football.
Hey, he just ran 5 go balls in a row. I'm going to take a couple plays off.
Yo, so that is a thing I think that was underrated about the whole Randy Moss in effort sort of thing or everything else is, hey, man, running 40 yards down the field will win you.
It does. And then getting hit once will win you even more. That's what Randy, my dad kind of got some of Randy's like love because he understood that and kind of went like, hey, Randy runs more than anybody. You know, like it'd be selfish of me to expect him to do it every play. but he kind of was like, hey, all right, Randy, like I'm going to give you the one, like, but you got to give me the next 7, So, and then they had another guy, Kelly Campbell. If you remember that name, that guy ran like a 4.18. So they would have Randy and Kelly. And so it's like, okay, give Randy a spell. Kelly, you go run. That'll give us the deep threat on this play. Randy run our screen or something like that. But yeah, his stuff was all just like the effort stuff or maybe some off-field stuff. It wasn't just like elbow dropping guys, tackling guys, pinning guys on the backside as a block and like giving them a rock bottom. Like Pickens is doing something every week that it's just like former players are all shaking their head going like, I don't know, man. Like I haven't seen this type of stuff in a while.
Well, let me ask you this about the Steelers, and I guess with Tomlin in particular, where I feel like Tomlin is maybe the highest floor guy in the league. The Steelers also haven't won a playoff game since Obama was the president. But again, I don't know how much of that is about the coach because they've had some real quarterback issues in the majority of that time period. But this feels like a year where I've been like, oh, he's really out here cooking. Like not just they win the games they're supposed to win, right? This one seems to be clearly exceeding the talent they've got.
Yes. The years before, I was like, wow, it's crazy that they can go toe-to-toe with the best ones, but then they lose against some team that hasn't won a game. That's kind of Tomlin's thing is he would get up for the big games and then they kind of drop off against the lesser teams. This team feels more good, like as opposed to, yeah, it's good for Tomlin. He's going to get the 9 wins. Ha, 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 ha. This is like, oh no, this is actually could win a playoff game because again, having good players helps. Like, I mean, they signed Patrick Queen. They got young guys stepping up. I already mentioned Joey Porter Jr., but Keanu Benton. They got other guys who are on their front that are really good. But the game plans have been really good on defense. Like playing against that Commanders game really impressed me. Even though the final score was only a 1-point win, it should have been more. They ran a fake punt that the gunner dropped that would have been a touchdown. It set up a short field for the Commanders. They scored. But the game plan they had for Jaden Daniels is like they put it on tape. This is what other teams are going to start copying. They really took it to him. Like whenever he did a read play, there's TJ Watt screaming at the quarterback, so Jaden Daniels has to hand it off. Like they really corralled him and contained him. So it's not just like an attitude thing, like where it's like, oh, we're tough and we're big and we're going to punch you in the face. It's like, oh no, they're playing smart, which, Tomlin has done, but sometimes it was always like, all right, as soon as they face anyone talented, they're going to get caught. But now they have dudes. So they don't have those weaknesses that they had before. Now they actually have some decent linebacker play. They actually have a corner who can go toe to toe with some talented guys and Joey Porter Jr. So like they have better, weapons to throw at guys. And that's the strength of the team. And then on offense, I just don't think they're trying to hide anything about what they are. They're going to like, 4 yards is good for us. But again, that you look at the AFC, that's as good of argument as anybody that comes out there. Maybe not the Bills or the Chiefs, but the rest of the teams in the AFC like that, they're going to have a fighting chance against anyone. Like, which is again, that's going to be a huge thing, especially if they win the division and host a game. Then they're going into Pittsburgh, and that's a whole nother thing. This isn't them getting the 7 seed and then playing the Chiefs on the road as a 2 seed like it's been in the past. This is a different feel for them.
The NBA is in full swing, which means you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup between the NFL and the NBA in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.